I was working for a wholesaler on the Gulf Coast, not far from the mermaids in Weeki Wachee, pretty close to the shrimp docks. There's a couple sets of shrimp docks up in there. We would get these buckets full of various marine life every morning as bycatch from the shrimpers. They would just drop it off before we even came in that morning. And it'd be big, beautiful seahorses and little arrow crabs and puffers and filefish and a lot of peppermint shrimp just hanging all over the seahorses. And we would ship these things off to Underwater World, see dying creatures and ERI, places like that. Trade them in Miami. We would take sponges and things down to Miami and trade them. But anyways, this bucket full of bycatch is what it's really called, would be traded from the shrimpers for just beer money, because it was basically under the table. They didn't have a bycatch license to be legally selling it. So they would drop it off at this wholesaler, and we would ship it out all over the place. And mostly it was for the peppermint shrimp. The other stuff was just a secondary product. But for some reason, the shrimpers love shrimp, so they go after peppermint shrimp. So I would call these fleet of boats that go out every night peppermint shrimp boats, because they target the peppermint shrimp because they're worth about 50 cents a piece to them, quarter, 50 cents, somewhere around there. Depends on who you get them from. Well, we weren't quite getting enough, so we decided to collect our own seahorses. We had a big order for somebody. So we get the shrimp boat ready, and we head out right before dark, like most shrimpers do. We chug out to international waters. I found out why we were in international waters later. We had no idea what was really going on at the time. We were just freshwater conchs from up north learning the ways of the South. This is my first time on a shrimp boat, and I didn't know nothing about this stuff when I got out there. Here we are out in the middle of the night. We drop our nets. We start dragging for, I don't know, hour or two. Total dark. You don't have your lights on while you're dragging. When we stopped the boat to pull up the nets, the most amazing thing happened. We turned on the lights, and there was hundreds, if not thousands, of seagulls just floating behind us in the dark. You didn't even know they were there. It was the craziest thing. I guess they've learned to follow the shrimp boats at night, and eventually there's going to be a bunch of bycatch they get to eat. And here's why. They take a board and they lay it across the width of the boat, and so you can drop the extra stuff off the both ends of the boat, or the sides of the boat, actually. But we drug up our nets, we dumped everything on a board, and we went through it. We had buckets so we could put seahorses and peppermint shrimp and different things. At least we kept them separate. And then the shrimp go in a cooler. Shrimp they want to catch to eat, that basically pays for the gas. The rest of the stuff gets slid off the side of the board, where almost none of it hits the water. The seagulls swoop down and grab everything before it hits the water. So anything that's extra, all the extra bycatch, which they calculated a whole lot of what you're actually pulling out of the water, gets ate by the seagulls. It gets killed. And the rest gets put in a bucket and sold to the aquarium industry, and the rest goes to shrimpers to go to buffets or whatever. But here's these big, beautiful seahorses in the bucket, and I got to noticing that every one of them was a big, pregnant male. And it dawned on me that the pregnant males can't get away from the rollers like the females can. They can swim away when they hear them coming, tearing through the reef at night. So all these big, beautiful, some of them were 15 inches and bright red and orange and yellow, just amazing creatures. Some of them had frilly things all over them. And all we were going to do was sell them to the pet trade. And the babies died usually in the system. They never even made it into a box. And if they did, they either gave birth in the box or shortly after they got to one of the other wholesalers or pet stores, wherever they were going. And all the babies would die. Not one of them would survive. So we rented some buildings and set up some tubs, and we were going to actually get the pregnant seahorses from the shrimpers and let them have their babies and put the babies back in the wild where they come from and then sell the adults off to the pet trade or whatever, wherever they were originally going to go. But there was a pirate that tried to run us off the road and told us if he ever saw us out on the water, he was going to sink us. When you start messing with people's money, they get real dangerous. It's a true pirate atmosphere down there. It's pretty bad out there. Anyways, I just wanted everybody to know that what was going on down there, because I believe this guy is still in business and teaching his kids, and it's terrible. We actually tried to talk to Fish or Wildlife about what was really going on, and we found out that they cover for their local guys down there. Anybody that's old grandfathered in, they leave them alone. They let them get away with bloody murder. They might mess with somebody from out of state if they catch them, but all them local guys down there getting away with all kinds of stuff, Fish and Wildlife looks the other way. They don't care. There's a whole lot of coral poaching going on all over the world. I met a poacher up on the East Coast one time. He actually came into one of my stores and wanted to sell me some of his corals. And, it was a real big deal according to him. And I went up to his basement, basically, and he showed me his big fancy system and blah, 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 and showed me pictures on how he goes over to other countries and sneaks little chips of corals back. And what people don't realize is that if nobody else has them, they can charge pretty much whatever they want for them. This guy was getting $2,000 a chip and calling them signature. They're his corals. He created them. That's worth its weight in diamonds. For a little tiny chip, $2,000. These people are dealing in growing diamonds because they can go poach them from another country, bring them back here, grow them out, and sell them as some signature exclusive coral. And the pet industry knows about it. The aquarium magazine people, the reef centrals, the aquarium, advanced aquariums, the reef addicts, the aqua nerds, all them people that have tried to block all the truth, they know it's coral poaching, but they don't care. They just want to get their corals. Just like the seahorses. They just want their seahorses. They don't care what they have to kill or go through to get them. I've seen a lot of stuff in my journey through the trade, but all them baby seahorses dying was one of the saddest things I've ever witnessed. And I just feel called to try to do something about it. I can't unsee it. I can't not do something about it. It must be fixed. This raping of our national marine sanctuary and our only living coral reef for fun and money has got to stop. We have got to put an end to what is going on down in Florida. And we need your help. So spread the word. Tell everybody, please. And if you want to know more, get a hold of me or keep listening. There's a whole lot more coming. The truth will set them free.